I know that you're in Austin, Texas, but how long have you actually been selling real estate?
Yeah, so I actually got my license February 22 and started off part-time. And I was actually new to Austin. We had moved here back in August of 21. So it'll be 4 years this August, actually next month. And I really didn't have an SOI and I've been moving to a new city, moving jobs and industries actually, because my corporate career was in healthcare. It was, I don't know what I was thinking, but it was like literally a bunch of things changing all at once. And at that time, I was part-time, decided to be part-time because I had a corporate job and had plans to, like, I had a 5-year plan, right? I was like, okay, maybe I'll be full-time. I'll be able to quit in 5 years. Let this be a ramp-up period. Um, but that kind of all changed in September, literally, what was that, February, and 7 months later, because I got laid off. I got
Mm,
laid off from my corporate job. And I just felt like, okay, maybe God's just telling me, nope, you're not going to wait 5 years. You're going to do it now. So I
yeah,
just took that opportunity to not look for another job. I really didn't. Like I said, I just moved to Austin. I didn't want to learn healthcare here, right? Because I was working remote for my previous company. And I was like, if I'm going to learn something new, I'm going to learn it in real estate because that's where I eventually want to be full time. So that's what I did. I didn't look for another job. I didn't do a part-time whatever. I like literally went all in because my income and my family depended on it. So I consulted with my broker and I was like, I was just throwing out some ideas of like how to lead gen. And one of those was like buying leads.
yeah,
And I was like, well, what do you think? And he was like, well, it worked for me. So, it's not a bad idea. And I was like, all right, well, let me just do it and see what happens. I didn't know anything else. You only know what you know, right?
sure.
And that was kind of the guidance I got back then, which is fine. Um, so I bought leads for my very first full calendar year no, actually, that was 22. So I bought leads that year because again, I was working full time and y'all, it sucked. It really did suck.
Just tell us how you really feel.
It did. It was terrible. Like, you get excited because you get the notifications that
Right.
here's a new lead, right? They're looking at
All
this
my problems are
beautiful.
solved. Ding, ding, ding. You got a new lead. And yeah,
Yeah. And then you call and they're like, nope, I was just looking, or no, I was just looking for the seller because I want to see if I could do their lawn, and it was just like it was like literally an emotional roller coaster in 30 seconds.
yeah,
And what annoyed me the most was when I contacted the vendor, I was like, you guys are giving me crap leads. They were like, well, is it your follow-up? Maybe you're not calling them quick enough. And I was like, don't you, they were trying to make me second guess my follow-up
yeah.
process. And I was like, I am on it. Anyway, I was contractually obligated for a year, so I had to just suck
Fulfill
it
that.
up,
Yeah.
right? And, they did give me hope and said, well, we'll reevaluate. And if we didn't give you good quality leads, we'll give you a credit. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get some money back because I should get money back because I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, it was a credit and it was a trap to get me into one of their other offerings. So I was just like, let me just cut my losses.
Let me
But
jump in. Let me jump in right
yep,
there.
go
Right. So,
ahead.
like, yeah, this is great. So, you get into the business because I think for most part-time people in real estate, you were presented from whatever sources you believe in, you were presented with this, what I would say, opportunity, and you were laid off, which forced you to make a decision. It's like either I'm going
Mhm.
to go all in or I'm going to look for a job and stay part time. You decided to go all in, which is what I believe most part time people should do. My belief is that part time anything can only get you part time results. And having that plan B, giving you that fallback, is really a huge crutch that is limiting your ability to really succeed in this business. So then you said, okay, I'm not going to go back into the corporate America. I'm going to make this thing work. So you join, and like most agents do, to your point, the learning's in the doing. You don't know what you don't know. You said, okay, I'm going to buy leads. And were they, out of curiosity, was it Facebook leads that you were buying? Were they buyer leads that you were buying?
Your
Um,
buyer leads through Realtor.com.
Got it. Okay. Buyer leads through realtor.com. Okay. So you try that for a year and then that wasn't great. So what I'm curious to break into today, which is what are you doing? What else have you tried that maybe hasn't worked? But more importantly, the people are here to find out, how did you solve the problems that most new agents have, which is I have to generate a stream of new leads. I
Hmm.
have to get in front of more people in order to sell more homes. And that's what people want to find out. What did Kathleen do to solve these problems that everyone else has? So as far as lead generation now, what is it
Hmm.
that you're doing? Because not only did you go from part-time to full-time, but you were in a brand new market, which makes this the most difficult business, not knowing anybody, no sphere of influence. What are you doing or what did you do for lead generation that started to work for you? And really quick, and we'll get right back to the video. But here's what's interesting: 80% of the realtors that watch videos on this channel are not making $100,000 a year. In fact, most of them tell me they feel like underpaid Uber drivers. They're burned out spending their nights and weekends chasing flaky buyers all over town. And as a result, earning less money now than they did before they got into real estate. And if you're in the same boat, I'm going to invite you to actually do something about it. In the description right underneath this video, there's a link for you to schedule a private one-on-one Zoom session where we'll map out a custom step-by-step action plan for you to start earning a minimum of $10,000 every single month starting immediately, which means no more working nights and weekends, and the roller coaster of income can finally come to an end. And no, I'm not going to ask you to buy crap leads that never convert. I'm not going to ask you to post 10 times a day on social media. And I'm definitely not going to ask you to beg your friends and family for referrals. Nope, you're just going to get the exact step-by-step framework that I've used to help over 6,000 agents earn a six-figure income as a listing agent. And so obviously there's only so much time in the day. I mean, we can't do these Zoom calls for everyone, but if you're serious about your business and you're ready to make a change in your business, click the link in the description to get started.
Yeah, I actually decided to use the money that I was quote unquote investing on leads and invest in a coach. And from that coach, I was able to create a referral based business. It was still primarily geared towards buyers, but it really helped me lay the foundation in my business because it was from a standpoint of how do I serve the people that I'm working with, right? I feel like real estate is awesome because I get to connect with people that I would have never connected with, right? And because of that, I use that as a way to, not just get to know people, right? And then also letting them know in a subtle way that I'm in real estate and then just say, hey, if you know anybody who you think I can help, right, let me know. And so I had done that, and people that I didn't think would refer their friends to me made referrals. And that's what happened. And it was really great because, I would reward the behavior and say thank you. I'd shoot them not shoot them, but I would mail them a thank you card with a
Yep.
Starbucks gift card, right? It became a joke to a few of my clients because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get another gift card in the mail because I sent you another one." And
Great.
then, and then it got to, well, shouldn't I get more than a $5 gift card from Starbucks, right?
Yeah,
But it
that's
was
funny.
like the point is they looked forward to the thank you card, right? It was just a small gesture. Maybe they used a gift card, maybe not, right? But it was just a way for me to kind of I guess start my business on the buy side, which was great, right? And then um, a new citizen of Austin, I was able to relate and say, "Hey, this is the process that I went to. I could totally relate where you're coming from." And I think that helped with the experience. And then from that, I got referrals, and that was the basis of my business for 2 years, essentially.
It's great. So I want to make this really clear for the audience. Your approach to real estate, which is spot on, by the way, is I need to go out there and talk to people about what it is that I do. I cannot sit back. I cannot be a secret agent. I can't just rely on hope and wait for people to reach out to me. I'm going to go meet people. I'm going to go connect with people. I'm going to go build relationships with people.
Hmm.
And through those relationships, I will serve those people. And as a result, through the law of reciprocity, they will introduce me to other people. And your approach to this idea that once you have one relationship, that's all you need, whether it's a new market or somewhere you've grown up your whole life, if you approach the relationship in the way that you're presenting it to us today, that's all you need to get
Hmm.
momentum going in your business. Is that right?
100%.
And so, if I'm watching this or I'm listening to this, I'm saying, okay, great. I want more referrals. I would love to build a business through referrals and not have to buy leads or knock doors or cold call or do social media. So, what are you doing specifically in nurturing these relationships? And more importantly, treating your clients so that once you get a client, that will be the last client you ever need. Why? My belief is that, and I know you're on the same page with this, Kathleen. My belief is that all you guys need is one client. And if you treat that client in a way that it would be the only way you would get another client is based on them introducing you to more people, you would treat the
Hmm.
client experience completely differently. And so, walk us through, Kathleen, kind of what you're doing to continue to grow your referral based business.
Yeah, so to answer your first question, what are you doing? It's really just trying to find what value can you give people, right? Whether it's someone that you just met, your neighbor, someone you go to church with, whatnot, like what can you give them? And so for a period of time, I went super simple because since I was new to the market, to the area, I was like, well, what do I do this weekend? Right? How cool would it be if I just let people know, did you know that there's X, Y, and Z happening this weekend? Did you know that, you know, this restaurant is amazing. Y'all should check it out. So that's the kind of content that I was putting out there initially. And then here we have protest tax season, right? And so that coincides with federal tax season, right? And it's like, okay, we're a non-disclosure state here in Texas, right? So technically, the tax appraisal district does not know how much your house sold for. They don't, except,
Yeah.
anyway. But basically, what I'm trying to say is be a resource to people with no strings attached, essentially, and be like, I want you to save money on your property taxes. No one likes paying property taxes, so let's find a way for you to do that, right?
Mm.
And I think just providing that value just gets your name out there, and then people think of you come property tax season time, right? And
Yeah.
so I started that, my first, again, in 23, and I have people who, again, this takes time, right? But again, it's putting your name out there. People think of you, and then they tell people about you, right? So that's
Yeah.
answering your first question. So the second question about the client experience, this is my favorite part
Yeah. No
because
doubt.
I'm like, I didn't want to be that agent who was that sleazy real estate agent, salesperson, whatever, right? Because I mean, I know people, when I saw them coming and I knew they were in sales, I turned the opposite direction,
Of
right? And
course. We all do. We all do.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to be that person. And so I was trying to really find my, I guess, balance and trying to figure out how to do that. So I'm all that to say, I'm not here for the transaction. And I say that from the get-go. Like if you and I work together and maybe we don't, I'm not going away, right? I'm here for the relationship, not the transaction, right? And so once we make that connection, I like to keep in touch. I like to have a reason to keep in touch. So um, for a period, I started monthly and I realized I couldn't keep up with it. So I transitioned to quarterly pop buys,
Mm.
right? And like, I'll bring a cheesy gift, super small, whether it's sunscreen, and or barbecue seasoning or a candle, whatever a small gift would be, and then include like a cheesy tagline. I mean, I wish I had ChatGPT like 2 years ago, right?
Right.
Because I was just Googling like how to, give me a play. I mean, we do it on the lottery tickets, right? I hope I'm
Yeah.
lucky enough. So it's similar concept, just
Yeah.
a play with the gift. And it was just my clients loved it. They didn't really care for the gift. They loved that I stopped by. They loved it was, it's supposed to be a pop by, but because of the relationships that I've created with these individuals, I would be there an hour, which is why I couldn't sustain the monthly
Right.
pop bys, right? I would remember if like I would listen and be like, oh, you're having a baby? I'm like, so I check in. How is, Miss So and so, like, feeling and things like that. So I would do that. I love client appreciation parties. I told you that I had one in June, and actually I
Yeah.
started in June in 23, and I just kept it going, and I made it an annual thing. And I get really good feedback on that. And this year was the first year I was able to, partner with other vendors who've helped me grow my business. And again, people don't care about how extravagant or how small it is. I mean, that was all me. That was in my head,
100%.
right? They just appreciate you and
Yeah.
that you're doing this because no one else does it, and we just have a good time. We catch up, or and it's literally 2 hours, just 2 hours. The other thing that I do is I remember them on their home anniversary, right? And so I call and I give them a gift. I send them a gift, whether again, or I pop by, right? It depends, but there is some sort of touch point. And then something that I implemented this year, primarily because of you, Brandon, is the annual reviews. Because now it's giving me an opportunity to kind of keep them. I really love the approach of the assets under management. I mean, because I, have a financial advisor and I rely on them. So I want my people to rely on me with anything that comes with real estate.
I love it. I mean, well said. I mean, the thing that I love most about your business is that you're doing the things that I try and coach agents to do first before they start doing any marketing or prospecting to strangers, is to put this foundational piece in place that you have done. In that I've always said, if you do these things, the need to market and prospect to strangers probably goes away. And that's been your experience. Would that be fair? And that
That is
your
fair.
your need to cold call an expired listing probably doesn't exist. It's because you didn't skip over the foundation. If I asked everybody on the live audience right now, which I won't for the sake of time, they've all bypassed step one, which is what you just got done telling us for the last 20 minutes. And they all are in the stranger business. How do I go after market and prospect to strangers? And they skipped step one. They don't know this, but what they are will find out one day is crap. If I don't have that in place, I will always have a transactional business for the rest of my career. You agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
And
So
it's not
let's
fun.
it's not fun. It's not fun. You see, that's why I tell people until I'm blue in the face, but they still don't want to listen, is that you only want to market and prospect to strangers so that one day you don't have to. I mean, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
fair to every realtor in the industry that you would primarily want to work based on past client, center of influence referrals? And everybody be shaking their head up and down. Yep, yep, yep. But what are you doing to be what I call referable? And that's what you've
Mm.
done such a great job. Everybody says they want referrals and all the benefits, but no one does anything to be referable. So let's break down some of these things that you just mentioned in a little bit more detail, because
Okay.
like the client events, everybody gets so overwhelmed. They think they have to put on this big dog and pony show. You don't have to do that. I love what you said. So what are you doing? Can you give us some concrete examples of your 2 hour get-togethers and what that means and what you're doing?
Yeah, so the first one was super simple. We're in Texas, so it's hot in the summer, right?
Yeah.
And so I just did a 2 hour event at a snow cone place, and it's one of my favorite snow cone spots. So I called them and I said, "Hey, I want to book something. What do I need to do?" And fortunately, they had multiple locations, and I picked the one that was most central because if you don't know, Austin is huge, and so I had clients like everywhere, and I didn't was trying to minimize the driving. So I picked the most central. And this is what I mean about like no one really cares. I just so happened to pick the location that was right next to a gas station. And I was mortified. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm super embarrassed because we had to share the bathroom with the gas station and it was not clean,
Sure.
right? But the cool thing, the upside is the place was small and I want to say like 25 people came and it looked super packed, right?
Yeah.
And I did a little flyer and I said, here's the menu, pick anything from here. And, I strategically picked those items because they were what, $3 each,
Yeah.
right? And so I said, go up to the cashier, just place your order and I have a tab open, right? Just enjoy your snow
Simple,
cone.
easy.
Simple. I mean, I paid the bill and it was like 300, 350 maybe at
Right.
that time. And so I'm just like, that's a postcard mailer for 1 month, right?
That's right. Well, the thing is, I mean, let's not get confused. The audience when they hear client events, they say, "Oh, well, this is we're playing the top of mind awareness game." That's what you
Yeah,
you say. Well, there's only 25 people there, man. Yeah, but all the people you get to invite that don't come is a touch point. All the way you
right.
get to document the event, whether you take pictures or videos, it's another touch point. See, this is the game we're playing the game. I mean, the problem is most agents want this direct, do this one thing, get this client. And that's why they're like addicted to expired listings as an example. They don't understand that if you plant the seeds, the garden will
Hmm.
grow. If you build a pipeline, it's and you can play a little bit of the long game, you can have a beautiful business. And so now you also mentioned referral partners and vendors. Can you talk to us about how you've gone about building those relationships and how those relationships are helping you to even scale these events even more?
Right. So, everyone is trying to partner with people, right? You normally have a preferred title company, you have a preferred lender, you have preferred inspector, right? All the things because you're kind of the one-stop shop for your clients, right? I need an
That's right.
electrician, I need a blah, blah, blah. And so I started creating these relationships over throughout, let's just say throughout the year. And I started working with Brandon, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I like how Brandon works. And Brandon was so good to my client, I used him again. So it was that. And then when it was time to make the ask, right? It's super uncomfortable, right? Because I don't like asking for money.
Sure. No one
Um, but
does.
it Right. But it was really like, hey, you helped me grow and I helped you grow. Like, I would love for us to partner and just love on the people that we helped this year. I mean, would you be open to partnering with me on that? I don't even give them a price, right? I just say, would you like to partner? And then they're the ones who come back and say, like, my lender said, I'll pay for half. And I was like, I didn't even tell you how much it costs. And it's like, no
Right.
worries. Like you sent me so many clients. I love working with you. Let's do it.
That's
Right. And then
amazing.
I
Yeah.
and then I had an inspector who said, yeah, will it, like 1 year he was like, will a gift card work? And I was like, absolutely. We could do a raffle and I could be like, thank you to so and so for
Right.
providing this gift. And then the following year he was like, you know what? I want to give you X $100. And I
Mm.
was like, thank you.
Yeah. That's
Right.
great. So
But
now
it
you've
was
got these partners helping you do these events, right?
right.
And they're glad to help because it helps themselves. They're not doing it themselves. The lender probably isn't doing a client appreciation event every quarter. And so it gets them the opportunity to build their personal brand with your network and it's helping each other grow. Can you give us one more example of maybe another client event that you guys have done together?
Yes. So I wanted to up my game, right? And also because I did well, right, in 23 because of the
Sure.
referrals that they all gave me. And so that year I decided to do a client appreciation event at Top Golf. And Top
Oh,
Golf, if y'all have a Top Golf, that is a great venue
yeah, it
because
is.
it's 2 hours. They provide good food and they're playing a game. So they're occupied. You're not forced to
You don't have
have
to
a
entertain the whole
host.
time. That's right.
Right. So you can definitely like chat with everybody, but without feeling the pressure like, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten to so and so. So I did that in 24 and it was a big hit. So I decided to do it again this past June. But the difference is, and what I think is really cool, and it really speaks to the success, and the people who've been with me from the beginning actually got to witness it. In 24, I had 3 bays. So a bay is, a place where you could actually hit the balls. And this year, I was able to book 8 bays. And like
Wow, that's
people would
great.
come in and they were like, wait a minute, we have this whole section. I was like, I know, it's so crazy, right? And
Yeah,
so
that's
it's just
cool.
really cool to just feel the support, the love, and just to see how much my business has grown, and just it just made me feel good too. Because,
Of course.
it also, but because you work hard, you also want to play hard. Right? So,
No doubt. That's great. Talk to us about the annual reviews. So I've talked about this for a long time too. Very rarely does an agent actually take me up on these because they don't look at our business as assets under management the way that you do, and they don't
mhm.
understand the benefit of doing it. But walk us through how you have taken this strategy and how you've implemented it.
Yeah, so the annual reviews, like I said, it's super brand new to my process. And it's really just taking bits and pieces of the listing presentation and putting it into a one pager, right? So it's
Yep.
just enough to get them curious, uh, so that they'll reach out,
Yep.
and then it gives me an opportunity to say, okay, so wait a minute, you are kind of thinking about selling, what's going on with change? And, just again, trying to figure out the motivation and really determine, is it really a good time to sell, rent, or whatever, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe they just want to know, but it is just a good touch point for me
So is
to,
it a questionnaire that you're mailing to them? Is that how you're executing it, or how are you doing that? Is it through email, or what are you doing exactly?
no, it's paper mail.
Got
I'm
it.
still a little old school, right?
Great. No, I love that. So you send them paper, something in the mail, and it's essentially a questionnaire that they fill out on these different aspects of the real estate review. And then are you just following up, or are you asking them to send it back? How are you doing that?
Yes, I follow up and I say, hey, so I actually do that and include my resume with it. So it's not a A10 envelope. It's a,
Okay,
what
big
is
one.
that? The big
The 8.5
envelope.
by 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that way it stands out, right? And then they can see that, yeah, I am a listing agent, first off, right?
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing, kind of thing.
That's right.
So, that's what I put in the one pager, and it says, the market is blah, blah, blah. If you're curious at what your home um, is valued at, let me know. We can have a discussion about it because, it changes, right?
That's right. It's super cool. I love it. This is
Yeah.
so great. So how much of your business, out of curiosity, and then we can open this up for some Q&A, but how much of your business comes through this channel versus having to do cold marketing or cold prospecting? How much are you getting through just warm referral past clients?
Um, it's 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 substantial. It's 76%.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, 76% of your business is the business that we all want. Where does the rest come from?
So 9% is prospecting, um, which thank you to the program.
Yeah,
12% is marketing, whether that's my first sale sign or open house. Again, thank you for the program. And then 6% is through social media
that's awesome.
because I
Good for
am
you.
active on social media. Yeah.
Yeah, you're great at it. You have great content, and I love that you track it all. So, I mean, you've got a really nice, well-rounded business. And so, as you look forward, what is your goal, and what does the future hold for like how you feel about growing and scaling this business? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And that's actually what really got me into the program was my goals essentially was to increase my price point. I wanted to build a luxury brand, and
Yeah,
then I wanted to become a listing agent because, as you heard, I was primarily a buyer's agent. And at that time, I didn't know the difference, right? So the listings that I was getting, it was from my SOI. And
yeah,
so they trusted me, they liked me, so they hired me. But for those cold sellers that I had no relationship with, I didn't win that business.
mm,
And they told me that, well, we just went with someone who had more experience. And so that really like hit my confidence. Like it really, I didn't have any confidence anytime I got in front of someone. Actually, really, it was almost PTSD. It brought me back to like when I graduated college and no one was hiring me because they said I had no experience. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get the experience if no one hires me?
yeah,
But, I feel like that the program has helped me with how I communicate with people, right? And even
Yep.
whether it's the people I know or don't know, right? I always think about your example, Brandon, about your friend, we're at the bar and your friend tells you we're going through a divorce. And just how you wouldn't be like, well, let me sell your house, girl.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Right? There's some empathy behind that.
That's
Like
right.
you don't ask for the business. That's just rude,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it
That's the definition of commission breath. Oh, you're getting a divorce? When can you sign the contract? How soon
right.
can we get your house on the market? You know, it's so funny.
Right. And so, I have that all in the back of my mind. And, the program has taught me to listen, to look at data and to present it in a way. I mean, if you can't tell, I'm a numbers person. So
Yeah.
how you present the data, you cannot you can't argue with the numbers.
Yeah.
And so you can't be like, well, your house won't sell, but there's no meat behind it as to why. Right.
Yeah.
And what I absolutely love is the push away.
Yeah.
And kudos to your team, Brandon, because Ron did that push away in our call. And when he didn't fight for me to join, I was a little offended. I
Yeah.
was a
That's
little
so funny.
offended.
Yeah.
And then like I hung up and I was like, I got to get in there. But that's like how I approach business now. And I was talking to, one of my role play partners today or yesterday, and I was like, I'm okay if they don't want to work with me. I just feel like there's so many agents. There's enough business for all the agents. And if I'm not the right agent for you, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's that approach that actually, this is the thing that people don't understand about the push away technique. It's having the approach of being detached that actually makes people want to work with you even more. That's the whole secret around communication, whether it be dating, whether it be sales, whether it be marketing. The person who's willing to walk away
Yeah.
always holds the leverage, period. End of story.
100%. Because when I bring that up, their whole demeanor changes.
Exactly. Because everybody else is like all over them, trying to convince them. And you're the only one who says, listen, if you end up finding that I'm not the agent, that's fine. It's okay.
Totally
And it makes
okay.
people feel really comfortable. Good for you.
Yes, 100%.
It's
So
great.
kudos to the program.
Yeah, last one for me. And then if you guys have questions, go ahead. You guys can get your hands raised on Zoom and I'll get you guys unmuted. Is there any, I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of us are where we are now through the experiences that we've had in the past. That makes sense. But if you could go back and get your license again, would there be specific things or decisions that you would have made differently that maybe would have helped you get to where you are now faster?
I would not buy leads. They're super expensive and I don't find any value in it. So I would invest in a coach right away.
Hmm.
100%. That's what I would do. Find a coach, whether it's Brandon or someone else that you vibe with, a coach to keep you accountable, to help you kind of keep you on the straight path, right? Um, Someone you could bounce ideas off of, like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to run my business. That way, you know, you have accountability and and the other thing I'll say about a coach, not just any other coach, any regular coach, I would say someone who's worked the business
Hmm.
because there are coaches out there, and no knock on them, that they're life coaches. They will encourage you, they'll help you, but I think having someone who's done the work, boots on the ground, I think that they bring a level of expertise that you won't get from anyone else.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words, truly. It's just a pleasure working with somebody like yourself who actually does what you ask them to do. That means you're coachable, right? And so you execute. So I love that. All right, very cool. So great story. Love that. I got, I don't know, maybe 2 pages of notes on stuff that they're just good reminders of me to remind other agents to start doing. So, Melissa, let's start with you. What questions do you have for Kathleen?